I don't know. Is it the right time to sell? I don't know what to do. What should I do? Maybe I shouldn't sell. Buyers are nervous. They're not buying. And we got really slow activity. Honestly, this is going to be a very challenging year for the real estate industry. This week in real estate, I mean,
Did anything happen this week? I don't feel like
quiet,
much happened this week.
quiet again in the market. It's like
Quiet.
when the rates come down, people get all excited, and there's a few deals, and we see a lot of sales. We see a flurry of sales, but like this week on our team, I saw much less sales than I did from like the couple weeks before. New listings coming up left, right, and center because obviously the activity spurs on a bunch of people to say, okay, finally, maybe I should get my house back on the market. So you start seeing, listings pick up again and
Because of
deal
the
very,
activity? Is that what you said?
yeah.
Because of
So
the act.
sellers start to see places sell, and then all of a sudden they go, whoa, now is a good time, right? So they all list at the same time, and then buyers pull back and go, I don't really care if I buy or not. And I've had a lot of buyers kind of have that attitude right now where there really is no pressure to buy. If you're a buyer and you're in this market right now and you're seeing places sell, they're not that great. Maybe somebody's overpaying. I was in a multiple offer this week where we backed
What?
out. We registered, we signed our offer. We're waiting to submit before we knew how many offers there were. It's in central Toronto. And then we found out that there were four offers and we felt like the house might not be the perfect house. And that's what I was telling them the whole time. I said, don't buy the house unless it's like you're like this is like the house that you want to buy. Don't just make an offer because, it's the only one available in the area that you're thinking about. And so they said at the last minute, we're going to pull out. And in the end, it sold for way more than it should have.
So, but why are they looking right now? Why, if they don't have to buy, why are they looking right now and getting into
Because
bidding wars? Like,
because
what's
they're
the
ready
thought
to buy.
process?
So like anybody right now that I'm dealing with, they got the money to buy. They're finally able to buy their dream home. Darryl, don't take away their dream. Don't like you want them to just stay renting in a small place that they can't renovate and make their own. That the kids are like. That's what people don't understand is that people aren't buying because they're like, oh, I'm going to make this great investment long term that's going to pay out and I'm going to sell it in a couple of years. Very few buyers are like that. Most buyers are like, I'm ready. I got the money. I'm approved. I got my down payment. I now need a larger home. What's the market conditions? All right, I'll deal with that.
So,
And it's
in
just
this particular case, is that what we're dealing with, TK? Because
almost all the buyers that I've dealt with that are not selling, like they're just buyers this year, whether they're first time buyers or they bought before. This
it's
client
just
happens
time.
to have bought before, but it's not first time, but they don't need to sell the place they're in because they're renting it.
It's just
It's just
time to
time.
buy. It's just time
Their
to
ducks
buy.
are in a row, so it's time to buy.
Ducks are in a row, time to
Yeah.
buy, ready and hot to trot.
And
And
people
they're
and people don't want to be renting and sitting in somebody else's house dealing with a landlord. They want to settle their roots. They got kids coming, growing up or coming into the equation, and they want to be in an area that they can, have good schools and all that kind of stuff. It's very normal. It's very normal.
very normal. Well,
That's who's buying. So even though we got the
that's what
lowest
I'm
number of
asking.
sales out there,
So,
those are still real buyers.
but hold on a sec. Okay, so the time is now. They're currently renting. Something comes up in the area, and boom, it's a bidding war because this is a great area.
It's a great area. Yeah, they're looking in like, Roncy, Bloor West, like, Runnymede,
So, what was so
these type of
special about this
areas.
house that four
Nothing.
people wanted it?
That's why. The price.
Nothing.
They priced it low for a bidding war. And so we backed out and said, "No, we're out."
And so, do we know where it ended up?
It doesn't really matter. But the bottom line is it went way over asking, a couple hundred grand over asking.
But was
Um,
asking the target, like was asking
no,
the
no, it was
price
priced low.
range?
It was priced low, as I
But
said.
you knew, so you guys knew it was priced
We
low,
knew
and
it was
you
priced
thought
low.
you could come up to X, and then you felt like,
It went
nah,
for
it's not
X
even worth it.
times two, and we were like, "Nah, we're good."
X times two, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Wow. So hold on
So
a sec. So what does that mean? So there's no, they were looking in a fairly broad area. So there's no inventory whatsoever in their price
in their
point.
price point, exactly.
Ah, the missing
So it's a
ingredient in
good
their
price
price
point
point.
for freehold in that area. And,
It is a good
depending on how
price.
close you are to Bloor, the price point's going to be a little bit different.
Hold on a
But
sec. It's a good price point, but there's nothing in that price point. Is that what you said?
There is, but maybe it's got no parking, or maybe it's needs lots of renovations, or maybe it's
So their
further away from the
price point
subway.
is not realistic for what they want,
No, it's
maybe
very
is part of it.
realistic.
No, it's
Very
very okay.
realistic.
So
Yeah.
that's good. So hold on a sec. So I wonder how many people are out there that it's just time to buy and there's zero pressure at all to buy and
Mhm.
there's options that they
What I was trying to
actually
say, what I was trying to
want.
tell, the story that I was trying to tell,
Oh,
before I got interrogated,
yeah. Sorry.
was was that these type of buyers are the type of buyers that are out there right now, which are just like they want to make an offer, they want to buy, it's time to buy, they're good, and they're ready to shop and they're ready to look, but they're not necessarily pressured by the market. They're not like, oh my God, I got to buy because it's going up, because they're seeing all these options out there. So even though this was this one case of a bidding war, and yeah, certain clients, depending on the area, might have a little bit more competition, they're not stressed at all. And that I'm not stressing them about it. Like, I mean, my main focus right now is just start trying to sell all the listings from people who are like really stuck, like people who are really, I'm dealing with lenders. I got all sorts of issues. Now I'm trying to find ways to close deals. We got a lot of issues. All the commercial deals and financing is such a mess. One of them, Equitable, changed the categorization of a apartment building to commercial type of financing. So they basically were saying, because it used to have like an industrial unit, it was converted. And long story short is they were like, well, yeah, well, our multifamily fund is already exhausted. So you guys have to go into our commercial fund, but we're not starting that until January. So they had to basically pull the financing at the last minute, like 2 days before closing, and said, but don't worry, we'll
What?
close in January. And my guys are like, well, what the heck? Like, comment, and subscribe right now down below. Hit the button, ring the bell. Darryl will answer every one of your comments. And we appreciate you guys coming out every single week.
That's right. The
It's a great
few of
show.
you that still watch the show, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Oh, yeah,
And
don't
then
worry.
I got another land deal where the guy got divorced after he bought it. Wants out of the deal desperately, but he's not getting out of the deal. So we've been just extending that one. Another commercial property, a guy, no idea what he's doing. TD pulled his financing. He's now with RBC, and my client took the deposit. We extended to the point where the guy defaulted, and the my client's got the buyer's deposit now. And he's just like, maybe I'll sell it to you. Maybe I won't. Maybe we'll relist it. I don't know. What kind of offer do you want to bring me now? Like, I'm like, oh, we got to sell it again. So a lot of like those type of financing issues are issues. But at the end of the day, buyers right now, like, what's the pressure? Why would you be pressured to buy right now?
Well, that's why I'm asking why there would be a bidding war on something that's not even desirable in an area that has other options. That
But maybe not great options. Bottom line is that buyers, once they get that money in their hand, they got their approval, they want to move in. Like the buyer I'm dealing with, they're buyers. I
are
got
they
another.
pregnant? Are they pregnant?
No pregnancies.
No
I got
pregnancies?
another one who's kind of in a similar type of scenario, like not too much pressure, but like when stuff comes out, it's like, TK, can we go see it right now? Oh my God, we got to see it.
Sure.
Should we make an offer? And then when we look at the price, sometimes we're like, that's not bad, but it's over budget. Sometimes we're like, hey, that's great if it could come down. Or sometimes it's like, hey, maybe that's not realistic for us, and we should look at up cheaper properties. Or they've actually told me recently that they want an even better house now, and I was kind of like, but that's what the market's doing.
It's crazy because we hear about all this inventory, and you'd think that people that are ready to buy would have all kinds of options. But even in the rentals, like Bailey's dealing with a client right now trying to find a house to rent.
Yeah,
You'd think there'd be some options, but the minute something decent comes up in a good area, boom,
a house
gonzo,
to rent. Oh yeah.
gonzo,
How many houses? We don't
gonzo.
we don't have that many houses in Toronto. We
Uh,
really don't.
there's actually a decent amount, but a lot of them are just derelict and like unlivable, or you really need to be a certain kind of person to be okay living in it.
Okay,
That's for
let's say
sure.
you want to rent a 3,000 square foot two-story house in like a good neighborhood that's like reasonable condition. 20-year
Well,
old home that's got like some
oh,
updates.
20-year-old home. The real problem is the decent rental house stock is stuff that people really want to sell, but they
Yeah,
can't sell it for the price they
exactly.
want. So you
But that's
can't
what I'm
live there for a long time, right?
sure, exactly. But that's the equation is like what landlord just has a $1.5, $2 million house just sort of like in their portfolio that's a single family. It's not even like a duplex. It's just like they used to live there, but now they're
Somebody who
it's
lived there,
it's
they
not
gave it to
it's
them
not that
is,
common of an investment property. That's why it's so easy to find condo rentals because there's so many of them. That's
yeah.
why it's so easy to find duplex rentals where you're going to have a basement apartment or main floor because that's like the type of investment property that someone might have, duplex, triplex, fourplex, right?
Yeah, and what's interesting actually, since we're talking about leasing apartments
Condos.
and condos, I
Yeah.
don't know if you saw
I
the
saw it. Yeah.
notes.
Highest
Uh,
level of 20,000 condo leased units in October.
yeah, and that's from a reliable source, Jeremiah Shamus, who, you
No, it
know,
was from Urban Nation and Ben Rabideau,
well,
but Jeremiah
they,
posted it. Yeah.
that's right,
Yeah.
exactly. Thank you. Thank you for the correction.
That's
Appreciate
okay.
that.
Well, I'm just saying, let's
Well,
credit the right source.
that is the correct chronology of where it came from. But
Yeah.
the point is that breaking records for leases of condos in a quarter. I don't think anybody saw that one kind of coming. Did you expect to see that? I mean, there is so much
Yeah. I mean, it
inventory.
makes a lot of sense.
Does it? I mean, the
Well,
amount of
think
inventory doesn't really go up. It's like staying at this ridiculously high level that no one can fathom. But I guess
sure,
it's turning.
but they didn't say, okay, so it's prices are down 6%, right? From the last 2 years, but they're up overall since like pre-pandemic. Like we had a little bit of a rent inflation going on there. We had all these Indian students, we had all these people here. There was a lot of people looking to rent, and that made the market a little bit more beneficial to the landlord. But then you got all these people who cannot sell their condos. We got all these completions. These people cannot sell. They used to be able to sell. They cannot sell. They're forced to lease out their units. And even though they're taking a lower rent than what they could have got, competition, all that kind of stuff, they're still brand new units. So that doesn't impact the average price as much.
The
See what
average
I'm saying?
rental
They
price as
don't do a
much?
how HPI index is when we look at homes and we compare not just based on average price, but based on like size of home and number of bedrooms and all that kind of stuff to try to smooth out the trends so that way if like a bunch of expensive homes are sold 1 month, that it's not going to skew the data. But when it comes to leasing, they don't do that. And so then when they just use average prices, it's just average prices. And so it means a lot of more expensive units that are being leased generally should be leasing at a higher price per square foot than some of the older stock. Make
Yeah.
sense? Brand
Yeah,
new building.
yeah, they are.
But they're not. Like
They're
they're sorry,
not?
sorry. What I'm trying to say is they're not renting as much as they could have before. And so the market's actually down more than what an average price would suggest because the percentage of those condos that are being leased are a lot more of them are newer.
Okay.
And so it's artificially inflating what the average rent
Inflating the
is.
average rent.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's where I was hoping you were at. I don't know what you said in between, but I was
Yeah.
hoping that that's what you were going to say because
Yeah.
clearly having all these new condos where people are squeezing every penny out of them must
Yeah.
inflate the average against, the shit that's out there that they haven't fixed in
It,
15
it's been a
years.
rental for 20 years. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, had the same booby in it for God knows how long. Um,
So
but
that's why what I'm saying is, and I
it's
guess the point of
promising, no?
all this is it's expected
It's
is that there would be a
expected.
bunch of units leased because there's a bunch of people who are really desperate to lease their condos out, and they
Right.
would have done anything to get it leased.
And
And
people
so
need to
they're
live places.
and people need to live places, and there's not a lot of houses to rent, and it's not a good time to buy for a lot of people. So then they're not buying, right?
Not buying.
It's not easier. Affordability hasn't changed. Even though the rates have come down, your monthly payment is still going to be pretty damn close to where it was before when the market was peaking at those crazy, ridiculous prices at next to zero interest rates. So the affordability hasn't changed much, and you can do that math on your own, but it's not a major difference.
Well, depend. Okay, it's much more affordable if you came into the market 2 years ago. Now it would seem more affordable. But if you've owned something for the last 10, 20 years, you had like a nice blip and now
Sure.
you're correcting. But I don't feel like that is over. Like we're not stabilizing on rents. Like there's still a lot more inventory coming down the pipe.
Yeah.
There's still a lot sitting on the market. There's no end in sight. So rents will likely come down
Look at
from here
the
still,
best thing to
right?
look at is these like 75% of Indian student visa applications were denied. The numbers from like where we are to date in student visas from India is at like 9,000, where we were to date in 2021 was 2023 was 150,000, almost 140 something thousand. Like the number, the sheer number of temporary visitors here, temporary residents in Canada is going to be dropping drastically. And so that's where the rental market was came from. Like I know, like there were rooms full of Indian students in many of the houses I sold.
Yeah.
And when people couldn't rent them out and they thought, oh, I'll never get the amount of money I need. Well, there was a group of Indian students who were going to rent out your apartment for you at that price. And maybe there was five of them living there, but you didn't care because you needed the money.
So,
That's gone.
so have we absorbed that entire immigration push that happened? Is everybody housed properly right now,
Not
or
not yet. So I'm doing a deal right now. So I got a couple good deals. So one of them is kind of tying into some of the programs. So remember the $1.5 million increase. So CMHC's mortgage changed from $1 million max to, I think they went up a little bit, but they went to 1.5.
1.2 and then now 1.5?
1.5 is the max, right?
For
So I
what?
got a deal just under 1.5 that a buyer is going to be getting insured. I'm not sure what their down payment is, but it's less than 20%.
Insured mortgage up to 1.5 million, and then it's
Yeah.
the first time home buyer
And they're
bullshit,
and they're
the
and they're and they're I won't say what country they're from because I
HST.
probably don't know what country they're from and I don't want to like discriminate, but they're not from around here
Mhm,
and they're doctors.
mhm. And they can practice being doctors here
Yeah.
currently.
So they have jobs here
They
as
came from a
doctors.
place where their license
Listen, I don't know
transferred.
their whole backstory here, Dale, but the bottom line is this: they're not Canadian born. They're buying their first home, or no, they're buying their first home in Toronto. They're
Mhm.
coming from another small city, but they're using that
Ah,
program. They're using that program. They got big
what
income,
program? Yeah.
the insured mortgage.
Oh, why not?
Well, we talked about it. What's the likelihood of anybody ever buying a home for one point, let's say 4,999,
Oh,
that
I see.
that
Yeah.
has enough income to qualify for the
Right.
damn
They're the
mortgage,
one
that
people,
they
what
don't have
one?
enough down payment to even put down the full 20%? Like it was just like, who is this
Yeah.
buyer? I got one. I found one finally. And so
Crazy.
the point of that story was that these are people who are new to Canada and that
Mhm.
they're not people who are like born and raised here, that they're part of the immigration flow and that they're all, in that circle of what you're talking about right now is, are those immigrants fully housed yet? The answer is no.
No.
It takes up to 3 years before somebody who's new to Canada ends up buying a home.
Well, but so I mean, where are they living? Are they sitting in rooming houses or like in
No, they
mattresses
sold a house
still?
in a small town. They're moving here.
No, not those people. I mean, in
Okay.
general, like we had so many more people than we're used to come in 4 years. Boom, 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 like just
Yeah.
piled on top of us. You could
Yeah.
feel the difference, right? You could feel everything was being stretched out. I don't really feel like that anymore, but maybe I just
Yeah.
go out less because it scares me out there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's no way in hell that we could have properly housed all of those people yet. So like, where are they?
Yeah.
Right? Like, where are they
I
living?
don't I don't I don't know. It seems, hold on a second. One of my tenants is calling me. Yeah, Rakesh. Yeah. I'll take out the garbage after. I'm just filming a podcast. I told you to leave me alone. All right.
God,
All right.
God damn
Okay.
it.
Sorry. Sorry about that, Daryl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where they're living.
See,
All right.
that was not Rakesh, actually. That was Raj. Just so you know.
Listen,
I know it's
cut that
hard,
out. Cut
TK.
that out. Okay. I got interrupted there. I apologize. But these are the things that you don't know. The numbers aren't there. You know how many people I've got doing Canada Homestay right now? These are people struggling to pay their mortgage. So the most profitable tenant you can get is a student paying under Canada Homestay, which is a company that brings in international students because their parents don't want to have to worry about like where their kids live. So they want them to live in the home. You give them a little lunch bag, you make them some dinner, pat them on the back, and say, good luck today at school, there, Johnson. I don't know where
Johnson.
Johnson's from, but sorry, I'm not trying to pick on the Indians today.
Rakesh.
I'm just saying, But there's Chinese students. I got another one's got a Saudi Arabian, Indian student. Like so, they're all from all over the place. And so, Canadian homestay is huge. Those guys
Why
must be
they
booming.
subsidize the rent for the
No,
people?
no, no, no. It's a premium. So the parents are like, I don't want my kids to just go live anywhere. I want them to live in a nice Canadian home, experience Canadian culture. They're gonna
Oh,
make them a nice hot meal. They're
that's
gonna make sure
called
that they make their bed and da da
what's
da
that
da da.
called? That's like a
Canada homestay.
foreign exchange program.
There's
Isn't
no
that what that
exchange though.
is?
You're not giving away anybody. It's just a borders. No.
I think when I was a kid, they used to trade. Like you
They
would go to the
they
other
still do those
country,
type of
right?
things.
Do they?
What do they call those people?
That must be horrible.
Not borders, but anyways, doesn't matter. It's called Canada Homestay. It's a company, and so
So they bring in people and give them
billets,
billets. So they
whatever.
give you
Doesn't matter.
a Canadian home willing to take in a border.
Yeah,
And so who pays the rent?
the parents.
The parents.
And they pay a premium. So, for example, I got one lady right now collecting
Why?
$4,800 for three students, and she gives them meals. So, $4,800 a month rent for her basement in a house that um, uh, isn't a legal basement apartment. So, you don't have a kitchen or anything like that. You just have rooms in your basement, and you're like, you go in that one, you go in that one, and tell your parents don't be late on the rent.
And
So, you collect
here's your meal. You got to give them
$4,800.
meals.
Yeah, which you're making anyways. You had a little bit of extra chicken. Like, like you're not doing anything crazy, right?
So
Call
what?
Factor and Factor will drop you off boxes for $10 a day. You're
So
charging the
what does
parents
the
12.
company do? This what
They make a
Canada?
percentage. They make a
A
percentage.
percentage of what? The rent
The rent, yeah.
for finding them a person willing to
They're
let some.
connecting. Yeah.
This is craziness, Steve. And
They're connecting a wealthy foreign national to a nice, peaceful. Like I applied, they denied my application. They're looking for people who
right,
are, of sane mind, who don't seem like they're going to try to put the kids to work in some sort of labor camp. I
yeah.
don't know. I read their policies. They denied me and asked me not to reapply for 3 to 4 years.
It sounds like something that people would certainly abuse. And the fact that there's even just a middleman there is pretty nuts. So how
No,
do
it's
they
pretty safe for the
find
parents.
people?
It's pretty safe for the parents. So
Oh
parents
yeah, I'm
Google,
sure.
parents Google safe place for my kid to.
Only 10% of the kids disappear from this company.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah,
That's
that's it.
like that's Hall of Fame.
Trauma is on the decrease. So there's less and less trauma in these kids' lives because of Canada Homestay. But
This
I'll
is
tell you a quick story here.
crazy.
The same lady. So another lady had Chinese students, and she had three or four of them, and she was getting like $5,400.
In
And
the
both of these
house,
and
one
both of these people
house.
are like about to lose their homes. Like they're both like totally screwed in every single way. But here's
That's
the
why
one
they're
story.
doing this deal.
This poor lady. Okay, I sent her our BG Wealth YouTube video.
Yeah.
Okay. I told her I can get her on the show. I told her we'll do everything I can to help fight this guy,
Yeah.
but she wasn't interested.
Okay.
Okay. But what happened was, and I'll tell her story, and I'm going to try to be as compassionate as I can because she's a super sweet lady, and that
Yeah.
she got screwed. She got screwed for 300 grand.
300 grand
Yeah. By a
from
mortgage
who?
broker
A mortgage
who
broker.
said, I'm going to invest your money into real estate, secured mortgages, and you're going to make an interest well above whatever it is that you're going to borrow the money from your home equity at. Remember
Oh,
that? Remember everyone
yeah.
pitching that? There was like Instagram videos.
Yeah.
Borrow at 2% and invest at 10 and the delta is going to pay for your trips around the world. All that kind of crap, right? So
Mhm.
she did that. The guy took the money and left.
Ooh.
So then she started suing him and she started getting lawyers and she started getting all these, expenses brought in. Then, in order to continue the fight, she had to, because the equity ran out in her home and she had to get her boyfriend to co sign for the $1 million mortgage. She got a mortgage on her mom's property
Oh
for
no.
$400,000. And
Oh.
now the value of her home is probably close to $1 million. So there's really no equity left in her home
Oh
anymore. So that's why
no.
she's got the Canada Homestay people. And she's chased this guy all the way where he's now in Quebec. And they're like, well, now you got to hire lawyers in Quebec. And she doesn't have any more money. And she spent like, she said to me her debt, and it was like, whatever the number was. And then she told me what it is now. And I'm like, but you only lost 300. I'm like, where did the rest go? And it was lawyer fees, renewal fees, because now she's in private mortgages and she had to renew again because she thought the law case was always going to be done. And this lady's literally just like crushed everything because of this fraud. Like it was just like, and her willingness to fight. I guess that's an asset in some cases, and it also works against you when you can't just accept your losses and move on with life.
Well, I'll tell you from both sides of the legal lens, like
Yeah,
nobody ever wins, no matter who wins. This I can guarantee you. It is
yeah,
rarely worth the amount of time and money and
yeah. Small claims court
heartache.
is worth it,
Small claims court is the biggest shit show on the
but you can
fucking
do it for free.
planet. You can't do it for free because do you understand how much time you have to sit in that courtroom to get heard and to get through that thing? unless your time is worthless, okay, then
Yeah.
maybe it's free. But
Okay.
for those of us, TK, that value our time and
Okay.
maybe make some money during it,
Yeah, I never
it
do.
is the biggest fucking sham you have ever seen.
It's all online now. I would just be working while I'm just waiting there and be like, oh, it's my turn. All right, log off. Here we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, because you can just sit online for 12 hours to find out that, oh, you didn't
Come
make
back.
today's docket.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're good. Are you okay in
2027.
April of 2028? April 16th, 2028, we have somebody available.
they're like January 3rd. You're like, yes, yes, 2027.
Like, holy
Shoot.
shit. Like, of course
Ah.
I'm free. Who's not
Yeah.
free 3 years from now, for fuck's
Yeah. I
sakes?
don't know what I'm doing.
But
Can I
this
get
is
back to you?
this is how it actually is.
Can I
But
get back to you?
anyways,
All right. You're
that
in charge of the
lady,
topics, by the way.
well, I
Sorry.
feel bad for that lady, but that's what happens. And especially if you decide to go headlong into a fight that you probably can't win,
The guy's
like,
got no money. The
but
money's gone.
who's
He's scamming
advising
people.
these people? Okay.
The
Who's
lawyers are taking their money, going, oh, yeah. Oh,
what?
yeah. This one here, we're going to win this. You're going to
Oh,
get that
what
guy's
about the
money
mother,
back.
though? What about the mother? The
The
mother's like,
mother's like probably 90. She's
yeah,
got other siblings. She should have never co-signed. I looked at
yeah.
the boyfriend in the eye and I said, man, you got yourself in a real jam here
Oh,
because you're
no.
on the hook for this mortgage. And
Oh,
he's just like,
no.
And I'm like, sorry, bud. But
Oh,
yeah, tough
no.
situation. Super, super, super nice. You feel bad for them, but there's also a part of me that's just like, what can I learn from this situation? How do
Uh,
I understand the faults that she has made and how do I grow from this? And I got some good answers from my own personal life. So
Well,
I'm
that's
happy.
good. I mean,
Yeah.
listen, I don't know where the 300 went that she gave to the mortgage guy, but like that was dumb and
Yeah.
probably ill-advised
And the
and
guy lives in
probably,
the basement of his parents' house in Quebec. That's what she found out.
of course, of
Yeah.
course.
Because all
Well,
the money's gone.
what I
100%.
found recently, and we won't talk about how and why, but it's
All right.
very easy
Suspicious.
to scam people in other
Suspicious.
countries or get
Yeah.
scammed by people by
Yeah.
in other countries. And then when they're in other countries, I mean, if it's not worth it to sue people here, TK,
Yeah.
imagine how unworth it is to try and chase somebody on an island or somewhere you don't even know where people are. TK, I've said
Yeah.
it many times. I could be in a basement in Panama right now and nobody would know the difference, right? How would you
Yeah.
know? Unless my internet would give it away, I guess, or I guess,
You are.
all of a
You are
sudden
in
I had a
you are
gun in
in
my head.
Panama, aren't you? Oh no,
Well,
you're in Curacao.
Curacao, baby. Curacao.
I saw video evidence of you in Curacao.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay, TK, I
Yeah.
can't come up with anything good to talk about when it comes to real estate. So, most of the stuff on my list this week,
You got a good
uh,
one on there. You
oh,
had
the
the 50-year
50-year
mortgage.
mortgages. You want to talk about 50? Well,
I
while I'm in charge of the topics, TK,
Okay.
let's talk
Sorry.
about
My
50-year
bad.
mortgages because that's interesting. Maybe it's interesting. I don't know. I wrote an article
Yeah.
about it this week. I
I
haven't
love your
written one
articles,
for a
and I think
while.
that they're all fucking awesome. And I think that
Thanks.
your 50-year mortgage one there, it's not a good one.
Not a good one. Oh,
No.
I got people saying it was fantastic and I hit the ball out of the park and I was
Well,
right
I just
on
think
target.
Chat GPT needed to do a little bit of math.
A little bit of math.
A little bit of math. I did the math. Look, I did the math. Chat
You did the
GPT
math?
right here. Yeah,
Okay.
I said, hey, chat.
Why?
I was like, listen,
What
chat.
math did I do wrong?
I said, chat, listen, this is what I need. Okay. Hold on. Where's my compare a 25-year loan mortgage versus a 50-year mortgage and invest the monthly payment difference into S&P
Oh,
500
investing the
index,
difference part. Yes,
Bitcoin and
TK.
gold. Compare the different strategies to see what's best,
So
what
hold
is
on a
best
sec.
decision,
So
and incorporate Canadian inflation.
you're flipping my rent to versus own argument that you always ignore when we have that discussion
Yeah.
back at me when it comes to the
This is
difference
just how the
between.
world works, Daryl.
Okay, so hold on a sec. So
When it
so
when it when I win, then it means that I get to use
okay,
whatever I want. But if you're gonna win, then you're cheating.
so hold on. Can we backtrack a little and give a
Yeah.
little bit of like people are just no, they don't even know what the fuck we're talking about. More
So
than
the
normal right
50-year
now.
mortgages
Yeah.
are being introduced in the States.
No, they just Trump just kind of mentioned it and everybody here went crazy, right? Because
Okay.
what does it
They're
do, TK?
they're
I have
they're
a
being talked about in the States.
but what happens when you get a 50-year mortgage now all of a sudden?
Your payment goes down.
Your payments go
It's
down.
there to protect the housing market because they sense that the housing market has got some issues.
Oh, there's an
It's
angle,
the
TK.
only reason that
Hold
they
on.
would ever say something like
To
this,
protect the
Daryl.
housing market, is that what
To
we're doing?
protect the housing market, Daryl, to justify the high prices so that people will be in debt and enslaved forever.
Oh, I feel mesmerized by your voice right now. I feel like you've got me under your spell.
They will own nothing.
They will be happy
This is how it is, right?
and
So
hungry.
this is just another tool. I mean, look, it's not coming to Canada anytime soon.
Payments,
We're
payments, payments. Not okay. So, but hold on a sec. So in my article, I
yeah,
mentioned that, over the lifetime of a 50-year mortgage versus a 20 or 30-year mortgage, or
yeah.
I guess 25, I forget my
We
example,
used to have 40.
but the difference that you actually pay for that house is extraordinarily different, TK. And what you're saying is that in my scenario, I didn't invest the difference
You
in
just
the
calculated how
stock
much
market.
interest would be paid.
So, but hold on. How? Okay. So you're saying that if it was still 25 years, then what? You need to invest something in the
Then
market?
after the 25 years, you
Oh,
would
you're
then
saying the 50
invest that
year, the
payment.
difference you're putting in the stock market, you're not
Yeah.
spending it because you need more money, because that's why you're doing this stupid thing.
And
You're
so
doing this because you're smart and you're being strategic and forward thinking. Okay,
yeah.
got it. Right. So
Now,
you're
the main
stretching out your
point, the
mortgage for
main point, the
life
main point is this.
because,
Nobody has the discipline to do
yeah,
that.
to do that. Okay,
So
but hold on a sec.
obviously a
So what
shorter
is the
mortgage
difference? It's better? Is
is
it
better
better though?
is better for the average person.
No, not the shorter mortgage. Your
The
scenario
50-year
that you're
mortgage, it's better financially if you invested the money. And I did it through gold, Bitcoin,
if
and an S&P 500 index one.
like all of them. You
All,
split it
all three of
between the
them are all
three.
better. Yeah.
All three of them are all better. So hold on a second here. Okay.
Yeah.
So you take the difference. Okay. So now instead of taking a 25 or 30-year amortization or mortgage, depending on which country you live in, okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
you're going to stretch the payments over 50 years to get a savings on your
Yeah.
monthly payments. Okay.
Yeah.
Your monthly rent or payment, depending on how you look at it. But
Yeah.
and then you're gonna take that difference, right? So
Yeah.
you're doing this to get that difference to invest it in Bitcoin in your
Something that's going to give
idea.
you a better return than the interest you're paying. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So um the right. And then or you're putting it into gold, right? And so in these scenarios, what you're saying is it's not only like it's a better opportunity to take the 50-year mortgage, be disciplined, put the difference away because you could afford it the other way. You're just choosing to do this, right? To get that difference to put how far ahead are you in your scenario? Then not doing it.
Um,
If you were disciplined
so
enough to be able to do
your
that.
net worth for Bitcoin would be at 21 million after 50 years, and if it was a 25-year mortgage, your net worth would be 9.2 billion, not 9.2 million. So that's the biggest difference. Is you would be up.
What's Bitcoin
You,
at in this scenario?
I'm just saying, it's like I think it's like a 13 to a 15% in annual return, but because of inflation, it's only 13%
Okay,
uh,
well,
real appreciation. Okay, so
clearly I should.
gold is a much smaller margin, the smallest margin.
Yeah.
S&P 500, there's like a few 100,000. It's not even that much of a difference. Obviously, Bitcoin's like
So
extreme.
Chat GPT, based on averages over time, has
Yes, S&P 500
decided
6%, Bitcoin. Oh, so that's real. So it's 8% because they factor in 2% for inflation, 13% for Bitcoin real, and gold at 1%. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's just
so
whatever. It's
so hold
just
on a
it's
sec. If you take the difference and put it in the S&P, where do you end up with money? You have how much more money at the end of this thing?
more money, a few $100,000. It's a close margin.
It's a
They're,
close
yeah, I
margin.
think they're both around 2 million. It's like 1.9 to 2.1, something like that, depending on all the different factors pricing. But smaller margin, but it was still better to do the 50-year. The bottom line is, Daryl, who the heck is going to invest? First of all, how old are you when you're getting a 50-year mortgage? Trump wants to do a
Right.
transferable mortgage. So then that way, if you move, you can take the mortgage with you, which isn't a thing right now. So that would be
Whoa.
because if I'm committing to a 50-year mortgage, I better really like the house that I'm in, and
Well,
I
that
better
would
be like 20.
Well, people don't move and don't sell because they want to keep their
Their
mortgage, right?
rate.
They
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
keep the mortgage, so they just
yeah,
stay in the house forever.
yeah.
Well, okay,
So that will
so
spur economic activity, and real estate prices will go up because people are trading real estate, which is what makes house prices go up. Really, the
right.
trading of the asset is what's going to stimulate people from feeling comfortable buying it, from confident selling it, and it's just going to allow more activity to come in, which then says, hey, safe investment, and people are willing to pay more money for it. When there's no activity like there is right now in our Toronto real estate market,
Yeah.
everyone's going like, I don't know. Is it the right time to sell? I don't know what to do. What should I do? Maybe I shouldn't sell. Buyers are nervous. They're not buying. And we got really slow activity. Honestly, this is going to be a very challenging year for the real estate industry. And I mean, developers, look at Conservatory Group. We were talking about that, right?
Oh yeah, we never even that wasn't even on
Yeah,
the list, TK.
it's
That didn't
okay.
even
We already,
make the
because we talked about it
list.
during the week. This is the problem with
Right.
me and you talking during the week.
Can't fucking
So
talk during the week.
this is now like the biggest portfolio ever to hit the market in during
Private portfolio. Yeah.
private portfolio. Okay.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's a
crazy
yeah,
portfolio too. What was the
it's
value? 61 billion or what was it? 6
uh,
billion or something?
I don't know. I thought it was four, but it doesn't matter.
Some
Read the article if
crazy
you want to read the
number.
article.
Yeah,
Bottom
the
line is, you know a lot about the family and that they've been fighting for a long time after the father's death, and they own
and
some
before.
pretty insane real estate, like
Insane.
insane apartment
Amazing.
buildings, insane industrial plazas,
I was talking to my
development
partner
land.
and we were like, it's such a shame that these guys couldn't just figure out how to like keep it together. You know, they couldn't
Yeah,
figure out how to just work together. Instead, they all had to like blow this thing up and argue about everything to a
yeah,
point where the court just said, there's zero chance you guys will ever figure out how to make this ship go straight. You know,
yeah, yeah,
they're all just pulling it in different directions. And now it's like, who said it? I think you said it. Like, if they only could have like got it on the market a few years ago, they lost a ton of value by it being for sale now.
huge, huge.
But I mean, a lot of it is crazy cash flowing apartment buildings and
Yeah.
malls and strip malls and like
And the
really,
institutional buyer list lining up to buy that portfolio is massive
I don't even
because
know.
that's exactly who this would fall into the hands of. You know
I
what I
mean,
mean? Like it's just the type of real estate that doesn't come available very often, and
yeah,
that for an institution to buy it, they'll buy it at like a ridiculously low cap rate
I
and
got a
just go in
feeling.
there and reorganize the asset until it cash flows for them the way they need to.
Yeah, get rid of some junk. But I got a
Yeah.
feeling that they're all going to be competing with four groups. You know, each one of those boys must be leading some group that's going to try and buy this thing because
Yeah.
these guys don't give a shit about money. They have more money than God. Okay. They
Yeah.
want to win this thing. They've been
Yeah.
fighting for years because
Some
somebody wants to
somebody
run the
must not
show.
want to run it, and other people obviously must want to run it.
Or they don't want him to run it. That's for
Yeah, yeah,
goddamn
yeah,
sure. It's like, you're not running this
yeah. Anybody but you. Yeah,
over my goddamn dead body. You are not running this thing, right?
yeah.
I'm the one who should be running it. Dad loved me the most. That's why,
He said
right?
I
Who
would
the,
do the best job. And I'm
but
sure, like in every other family, I'm sure there's a bunch of like mistakes that some of them have made. Like they're just
oh
like,
my
remember that time
God.
you opened the donut shop? Huh?
Yeah.
What happened?
Remember
You
you
couldn't even
bought
run a
that stupid thing, you
couldn't even
son of
run
a
a
bitch?
donut shop. You bankrupt within 18 months. Jeez.
Yeah.
Like those type of stories are there. And so like they're all going to be very like, you and I from the outside would say like, well, geez, don't you guys have the experience to be able to run this? Well, there's a difference between running it well and running it and growing it. And I'm
Yeah.
sure there's probably one of them who deserves to run it,
Yeah. And he'll figure out
right?
how to actually get this thing at
Yeah.
the end of the day.
He'll be able to pay the most
He'll
so
figure it
that,
out.
under probably a shotgun clause or whatever type of court order that they have,
That's what I
they'll
feel is happening
they'll
right
be able
now.
to find a way to be able to get a price that everyone else has to accept because
Yeah.
it's the highest price out there.
I just think
Yeah.
like these guys are, they at least two of them have to be trying to figure out a way to keep this thing going and keep
Yeah.
it in the family and feel like, they built this thing and no one's
Yeah.
taking it away from me. And
Who's the
go,
who's the realtor? That's what I want to know.
who's the
Who's
realtor?
the realtor who got that listing?
Probably a bunch, but
Oh,
how
for sure.
real is this? It's an
Yeah.
article that came out. I
Yeah.
remember years ago,
Yeah.
a big company that my family, my one of my cousins owns. It came
Yeah.
out in the news that it was for sale, but it's just part of the process to value the business so that one of the partners or can get kicked out or one of the partners can shotgun and
Yeah.
own it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I can't imagine they, but I mean, they're all also, my age or older. So maybe they're all just like, you know what? I'll just take the fucking money. I don't want to do anything anymore. It's enough. I don't want to fight. I'll go
Yeah.
buy, a few islands
My own
and
my own properties, my own business, my own whatever. Yeah.
whatever. I'll go do it myself. And probably since this thing's been going on, they've taken their own capital and started their own like development companies again or
Yeah.
bought
Yeah. Yeah.
buildings. Like this is
Yeah.
not this is like a little annoyance for these guys, really. I saw
Yeah.
one of them at the breakfast place we always go to the other day. Like that's where
Yeah.
these guys go all the time too,
Yeah.
right? It's like,
Yeah.
hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Like nothing, like all of a sudden there wasn't an article exposing the family's, assets
Yeah.
are for sale on the open market, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything's good. Nice to
Everything's
see
good.
you.
How's your
Yeah.
brother?
Yeah, how's your bagel? Yeah,
Yeah.
no, you don't ask how's your brother. That's for damn sure. This I know.
Yeah.
But I guess it depends which one you're talking to. But anyways, it's not like I know them well, but I definitely have known them and done work. I actually renovated one of their dad's house.
Yeah.
One of the when the father died, one of the brothers moved into the house, and I renovated like part of the bedroom. I don't even remember. I know I definitely did some work there, and then I helped build one of the other brothers' houses, like on the bridle path when he built it years ago.
Yeah.
It's and I worked with them in the furniture business, like in all that Princess Margaret stuff. They bought a lot of furniture, or tried to. That's a whole other story that we don't have to get into.
Okay.
But it's like it's such a crazy business that it's such a shame that they couldn't just, somebody couldn't get them in the room and just say, fucking behave. Okay. Like, what are you
Mhm.
guys, fucking morons? You have it made in the fucking shade. Just hire a CEO and a CFO and a COO and
Yeah.
shut the fuck up and
Collect your
go do
dividend
your own
check
thing.
and
Go
yeah.
do your own thing on the
Yeah.
side, right? Like
Yeah.
let this thing go for
There's so much animosity.
like,
When I deal with estate sales, it's
yeah,
absolute insanity.
insanity.
The relationship breakdown between siblings.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's like really bad. Like I've seen it on most of the estates, especially if there's um joint estate trusteeship. So it means that you need multiple people's signatures in order to be able to sign on behalf of the estate.
Yeah.
That's when there's problems.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah. So
not
when you can
only
just
then.
appoint one estate trustee and it's like that guy, so everyone kind of just falls in line. They're like, all right, I'm getting my share and I just better keep my mouth shut here. But when I need to get like
Right.
three, four people's signatures, it's always a real big hassle. When
Yeah,
I do see
everybody's
people
powerful.
cooperate, I like congratulate them. I'm like, listen, you guys are awesome, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah. It's a miracle, especially if there is an estate, right?
Yeah.
Because like if there's nothing to fight over, then there's nothing to fight over. The problem is
Yeah.
is that when there is something to fight over,
Yeah.
chances are the people that are receiving it don't feel like they should be receiving it equally or that
Sure,
that
sure,
guy
sure.
shouldn't be, it's like, why the fuck do I get the same as that motherfucker, right?
Yeah.
This is the main issue.
Most of the ones that I'll be dealing with it's only on the house. It's only on the real estate. So it's like what other assets they have and how that was divided. I'm
You don't know how
I'm not
that
privy
went
to.
down.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So I only know that the house, right? Like and that's what people are selling
I
more and more.
remember I bought a property or I didn't get to buy it actually. I worked on a property at Bayview and Shepherd and it was for a buddy of mine. And we were having breakfast one day and he's like, the parent, finally the last grandparent or parent died that owned the buildings. Okay. So like these guys, my friend's dad was a partner with his brother, right? So all these cousins were like waiting for the last one to drop so they could own it, so they could sell it because they all hated each other, right? And so finally, when the torch got passed, it was instantly like, oh, I got this property. We got to sell it like right away. And it was a prize jewel. Okay. They
Yeah.
didn't realize it because they just wanted to get rid of it. They ended up making out really friggin' well at such a great time. But like, they probably would have been better to just keep owning the damn thing and figuring out a way to just, everybody just shut up. Let's hire a property manager and just leave this thing in the family forever because we got
Yeah.
kids, right? And
Yeah.
we got bills to pay. And instead, I mean, I guess you end up with a bunch of money, but I don't know. Isn't it nice to just get a whole bunch of money coming in every single month forever and not have to do
People
anything?
don't do the math on what it is that a property will cash flow once the mortgage is paid off. You know,
Well,
like they look at because okay, but this is what they do is they say, well, right now it's making
if it
a
even
hundred
has
a hundred
one.
and fifty thousand dollars a year net income, right?
Mm,
And so that
mm,
I'm going to go and buy well, I'm just checking someone who's going to buy a rental property, right? And they're like, well, I'm going to just buy the property and then I have to pay all these mortgages and I cash flow like X dollars a month. It's like whatever. But when you do pay off that mortgage, let's say it's in 20 years, you accelerate it a little bit. The net income isn't $150,000 anymore,
yeah.
right? Your net income is going to be a lot more than that.
Yeah.
And that's going to be all, your
Probably more than double.
more than double after 20 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Depending on the type of property, but definitely, at least double.
Just based on
Right.
not paying the mortgage every month.
And so you don't have to service any debt. You've got this great property. Before, if it was a five cap or whatever it was, then now the value of your income, right, could be, 10 or 15% of the original purchase price. So you're getting a huge amount of income that you're generating on the investment, which is then like in perpetuity. You own the property, you can give it to your kids, all that kind of stuff, and it's like
Yeah.
people are surviving off that. You know that. There's a ton of people. That's a major, major business. Are you a real estate agent and you're looking to make a change? Anywhere in Ontario, guess what? We're hiring. Franklin Associates, #1 team in the GTA for all REMAX teams, #1 team for all teams from all companies for number of units sold throughout Toronto. So if you're looking to make a change, best decision I ever made was to join Franklin Associates. Go to jointeamleo.com and we can set up a call.
The smartest
Real estate is
guys,
fantastic.
well, if you do it properly, it's fantastic. The smartest guys I ever met were the guys who like had a bunch of cash sitting around, put it all into some property and never ever let it go. They
Hmm.
just own it forever. There's no debt on it. Like it was just like it made as much as it could all the time,
Yeah.
whenever it was, right? And then
Yeah.
if they had no one in it for a bit, it didn't bleed them to death, right? And they
Yeah.
would just be like, okay, now next time I make a chunk of money, I'm going to buy something else, right? And
Hmm.
they buy that and they never sell it. And that thing would just bring in money forever and
That's
ever
it.
and ever.
Yeah, that's it.
And
Too many people focus on the leverage game, and the game is good for people who have no money.
it had to happen because
You know,
the
but
money, the
yeah,
incomes got so detached from the values, right? That
yeah,
people needed another way to be able to afford it. And that's why you start talking about payments, like we were talking about at the 50-year mortgages. It's like
yeah,
the payment became more important than what you're actually buying the house for.
yeah,
Right. It's all backwards and upside down. And so you had to start doing more creative financing, right? So that you could buy something
yeah,
because it became impossible to just right. Like I'm talking about in a time when you could just take 30 grand and buy a house with it, right? And have no mortgage, or 100 grand and have no mortgage, or you bought a property with $1 million, some crazy piece of land with like a mall on it, right? And this is not, you can't do this anymore, right?
hmm,
For $1 million, you were talking about getting help from the government on a starter home, for fuck's sakes, okay? Right? Like this is a very different time, and things are so far out of whack right now that it's like, I don't know. I don't
yeah,
know. They got to figure out a way to get wages up, because otherwise, I don't know how far down the market has to go and what can turn it back on at what point, right?
yeah.
Or
Oh,
like
sorry.
I still no, there's I got no.
Real estate with us right there. Sorry,
Was I not talking about real estate there?
we are. You know how my brain works.
Thank you for getting me
The
back on track.
the retail shop decision from the city of Toronto. Okay,
Oh
so listen to this.
God.
I should pull this up right now.
Before the
I'm not
fake
gonna.
meat, TK?
I'm not
Okay,
gonna. Okay,
fine.
I'm not
It's
gonna
so
do them. I'm not gonna
boring.
do the numbers on it,
It's
but
so
just
boring.
If you look up
What is it?
commercial
Hold on. What is it?
okay,
Tell people what you're talking about.
okay. The city of Toronto now wants to amend the zoning bylaws on certain streets. So you've got, on major streets, on interior neighborhood streets, corner lots, things like that, and other interior
Laneways.
street and laneways and garages and other interior street homes to have different levels of businesses. So more major streets can have like, more options for permitted uses. Corner lots can have like a convenience store with like a little cafe shop in it. And then like interior streets can have like home offices, businesses, laneways, stuff like that, where you can have up to two employees, bring people by and have, your little business set up to encourage people doing businesses. If you go and look at right now a store with apartment or office above, right? If you look at and you search that criteria in Toronto, how many listings or how many have been sold, right? Over the last year, it's like abysmal. There's nothing going on in that market right now. As soon as you have a commercial use to the property, you got commercial financing. Okay. As soon as you have commercial use to the
Burns.
property, you got commercial taxes, you got commercial insurance. You like it's a real pain in the butt to put those deals together right now, and they're not penciling. That's it. So we're adding inventory into that market when there is
No.
already like a huge wave of sellers in that market who are already not getting their places rent, who are already can't find a tenant, who are already struggling to be able to pay their bills because they got refinanced at a 3% mortgage rate when the appraisal came in at 2.3, and now the appraisal is coming in at 1.5, and they're going to be renewing at 6-7% when that mortgage is up. That's a stupid policy. Bad timing.
I don't even know when it's a good policy. Like, why do you want to do that? The best thing ever is that if you're on a main street, you don't have to put any retail component in the damn thing. You can just rent out everything.
Yeah.
Why would you add that? And then in a laneway, like
Yeah.
who again,
You want to do
people don't
another like
think they think it's
yeah.
like, oh, I can open a pizza restaurant in my backyard now.
Yeah,
This
not
is
even.
great.
Like you're gonna be just like selling a little like warehouse. You could do like a little like assembly plant or something like that, which like
But what are
again,
you
how many
making there?
what why can't you do it right now? Like I get it, look, the zoning bylaws, but you're telling me you got a little quiet business that you can just do in your garage. You're not just gonna do it anyways. You're not gonna run your home office where your clients are gonna come and see you about your accounting or your bookkeeping
Home
or your
office is
therapy.
different. We're talking more like a Kensington Market kind of vibe, like in a
Sure. Okay,
laneway
a
or
little
something, you
convenience
know?
store. What are you selling? What are you selling?
I don't know, but like,
Yeah,
is it worth converting the property to a mixed
it
use
can
or a
be. I
commercial?
can't see.
Maybe.
They're going to review it after 2 years. I can't see that this is going to be a successful pilot
This
program.
is
I really
going with
can't
the
see it.
Sixplex project that was a stunning success and built no houses. Well,
We'll see.
I'm glad you brought us onto that topic because it was very fruitful and full.
It's in the news. It's in the
It's in the
news.
news.
People are talking
Was it
about
in
it.
the news? Are people talking about that? What are they saying,
A
TK?
person talked about it.
What did you hear them say? Because
That guy said
no,
what
you
I
know who?
repeated.
There was this guy, a planner guy that I played. I think he played drums with me one time, and I think he was happy that this got approved because he's one of those guys that like is just advocating for like more
Uh,
uses,
Planning. Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
more
Planning
uses,
reform.
right? Like
Yeah,
just
yeah,
anything is
yeah,
better than what we have, and it
yeah,
makes him happy. But
yeah.
like for most people, I don't think anybody is really clamoring over, oh, thank God. Now
Yeah, I
I
can get a
can,
coffee from my
right?
neighbor Jim's freaking
Right.
basement.
Like
Like,
now he can
why couldn't I get that coffee
advertise,
before? Why
right?
why couldn't Jim just make me coffee and I'll go over there and give him a buck 50?
Now I don't have
You
to
know?
keep my mouth shut so Jim is still in business and they
Right? If
don't
he's got
bust
good
him.
coffee, no one's gonna call zoning on him.
We
If
used to
his
go to
coffee's
this.
crap, then yeah, we're gonna call zoning and get him shut down.
Do you know the place Dr. Laffa? Like when Dr. Laffa first came to the city, they were in
Yeah,
like some busted up warehouse, like the back of a warehouse. It was like concrete floors and you could hear machines in the the next part of the building and it was slammed.
yeah,
Nobody gave a shit. They got shut down eventually, right? Because it got
yeah.
so busy. And I don't know why they got shut down. Like, why can't you just have a restaurant in the back of a warehouse? If people are eating it and they're happy and no one's dying from it, TK,
Yeah.
what the fuck does anybody care what happens back there? I know for a fact that a lot of people have made a lot of money, renting out commercial properties for one of their for a use that they're not permitted
Yeah.
for, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
if you
yeah.
look at all of the Castlefield and Dufferin and Lawrence and Eglinton area, like that whole area there is not zoned as retail, right? And it's all whole retail area right now. Everything in there is retail, but it
Yeah.
was industrial and
Yeah.
commercial, and those are not the same. Even like Chesswood, you got churches in, I guess that's a use in most commercial areas, but
Not a lot of them. It's pretty subjective. They closed that down a couple of years ago.
they closed it down a couple of
Yeah,
years ago
place
because
of worship was
everybody,
removed from a lot of the industrial zoning codes, and so it became a very difficult permitted use to find.
well, the point is that, why can people fucking tell me what I can do on my property if I have a willing participant to pay me to do it and he's not killing anybody, right? Like
Sure,
why
sure, sure.
why can't I build a tower on
Talk to
my
your
property?
talk to your drumming buddy, the planner. He'll give you a better answer than I can
Well,
give
but
you.
this is the thing is the
Yeah,
planners can only get in like garden suites and laneway suites and like main street, like little things, they can't seem to I I I mean maybe the MTSA, I don't know. Now they get
what's
better planning on tower sites and everybody, oh, this is actually a good segue. You got we talked about it last week. You got all these sites where, they have zoning for 40 stories and they're like, I'm not going to build 40 stories. This is not financially feasible. I don't think we can absorb all these units. We're going to down plan this thing, right? Which
yeah,
is just insane. And then you hear a story, and I don't know if you heard this story, but at Dufferin and Steeles, you know where the Sanofi plant is, the drug company, Dufferin and Steeles, they make a whole lot of drugs. I heard that.
sure. No, no, but go ahead. Yeah,
Well,
you
I
live
hear
there.
that Bill Gates owns the place. Anyways, so they just had the city cock block a crate, like the owner, it's a 4-story apartment building, and then the owner is a big apartment owner and a big developer in the city, 10 block, had a planning application in for 33 stories, 25 stories, and like 13 stories on this thing. And I guess they're replacing a bunch of rental as part of it because it's a pretty decent sized building, probably has already 80, 100 units in it. But they were planning like this whole crazy site, and the people from Sanofi next door put in some kind of thing to get the city or the province to do a MZO to cock block them at 10 stories maximum, which is crazy. And it looks like the city or the province is totally behind chopping down this application. So you got one of few people willing to move a project forward and put more housing into the market and deal with rental replacement on top of it, like on a site that never would be able to happen because rental replacement is fucking ridiculous. Instead, they chop them because the drug company decides they don't want people looking into their compound, I think is the right wording. Is that scary? Is that fucked up? Is that what should be happening? Are, are we in a housing crisis? Is what it always ends up coming back down to for me because we're
We
behaving
got
like
enough
a bunch.
houses now, guys. We got enough houses now. All right.
Everybody that wants to
We
build
thought
housing.
we thought the climate was changing. We thought we didn't have enough houses. All right. We thought that the hole in the ozone layer was going to be an issue, but it turns out we were wrong. Let's focus on another issue now. All right. We got other things to do right now, guys. All right. March. What are we doing now? What's the next one?
It's crazy. Well,
What's
I
Dougie
don't
got?
know.
Dougie had something. Oh, Rico. The Real
Rico,
Estate Council of Ontario. They're not organizing their people the way they should. The iPro Realty case is definitely something that is, absurd, and therefore we are sending a message to Rico that
wasn't there another one too?
we're going to appoint a government official to be regulating the regulator. You know,
Official regulating the
yeah,
regulator.
which to me makes a lot of sense. You know,
Okay.
like if you were going to be like some sort of regulator. Like if there's going to be some sort of like official, you're having meetings with people from the provincial government and you're commenting on legislation and all that kind of stuff, they should have somebody who's representing the government as on like a board or like give them like a position, like maybe just like update them on a few things every once in a while, or just every once in a while just like oversee what it is that they're doing, just to make sure that the people, like it's a regulator, isn't like, what are they regulating? They're regulating the law.
Are they?
Well, they're
They're-
supposed to be. That's the whole point. Is underneath the Trust and Real Estate Services Act, they're supposed to be regulating, the industry in order to be able to abide by the rules.
So we need
And
a
so,
regulator for the regulator? Is that what you're
well, it
suggesting?
it, it kind of makes sense to have somebody there just making sure, because there's a bunch of, Tom, Dick, and Harry's running it
Right.
who, can be basically appointed, through the process and get to the position that they're in and really not have the public's best interest. I'm not
Well,
saying that's the truth, but the Joe Richter guy, whatever his name was, like once this whole iPro thing happened, like he stepped down. He
right.
he got away. Like that was,
He got
come on,
away. He got away.
he left.
He
So
got
when
away.
you step down in the face of a controversy, what does that tell the public? John Tory, when he got caught with that woman and he stepped down for mayor, did he sound innocent?
He got away with that one too, because they just kind of like disappear into the sunset.
But
Actually, it's
that's what you
funny
do. But he's
that
smart. He's
that
like
guy disappeared from
he's
the
like this. He's like this.
yeah. I'll be right back, guys. Yeah, he's like the father that went to go get a pack of cigarettes and never came back.
I don't
And
think the kids are mine. I want a DNA test.
so,
So
what are we talking about?
I don't know, but we're gonna talk about how people can like, comment, and subscribe right now down below. Hit the button, ring the bell. Darryl will answer every one of your comments, and that we appreciate you guys coming out every single week.
That's right. The
It's a great
few of
show.
you that still watch the show, thank you so much. We appreciate you. TK, thank you for allowing me to speak this week. I really appreciate it.
I
Feel
really
good.
tried my best this
Feel
week.
good about that.
I
I
did.
feel like I got a few words out this week.
I
I
did.
do
I
feel
promise
like
you.
it was more like I was interviewing you, which
I
maybe
was
that's a
getting
good thing.
interrogated a little bit in the beginning, but I felt more of a
Yeah.
conversation flow out
You
of
say
our
interrogate, I say
recording
interview.
later on.
Different perspectives, TK. That's why people love this show because we have
We're here.
completely different perspectives. Now, you didn't let me talk about the fake meat, TK, so we'll have to talk about that
Fake
another
meat.
time.
We'll have to make shoot.
It's too
Man,
bad
that
that
was
didn't make it
such an
into the
important one.
Canadian real estate show this week,
Yes.
but you'll see how I tie it all together in my
I I
Substack, TK.
I can't wait to read it.
Fake meat
I mean
does
that,
have an effect on the real estate market.
of
You would
course.
not even believe how
Bear
I
market
put that
indicator.
together. Bears.
We
Yeah,
can't eat real meat
bears.
anymore. We gotta just eat fake meat.
Bears a gamey meat.
Prices are going down, 100%.
Well, we'll have to discuss it next week, TK.
All right.
All
Well, I'll
right.
see you next week then.
I'll see you next week. Have a nice day.
You too.